The city was waking up. High above the world, the sun was a bright yellow peeking over the tall, glassy buildings. Down below, on a quiet street paved with old, smooth stones, something small and lonely was lying by the edge of the curb. It was a single little glove. It was a friendly shade of blue with soft, fuzzy lining on the inside, but right now it felt very cold and very alone. The little glove had once been part of a pair, tucked safely away in a warm pocket. But a sudden jump, a tumbling roll, and a gust of wind had sent it flying from a stroller, away from its partner, and away from the small, warm hand it was meant to protect. It had landed here next to the gentle flow of the Cobblestone River. Now, the Cobblestone River wasn't made of water. Oh no. It was a long, winding path made of thousands of grey, rounded stones where people and cars and bicycles flowed like a busy stream all day long. The little glove felt a deep sadness, a hollow feeling where a happy hand should be. It missed its partner. It missed its purpose. All it wanted was to be useful again, to feel the warmth of a helping hand. It looked out at the flowing Cobblestone River and knew it couldn't stay here. It had to find a new purpose. It had to find a way to feel warm inside. A gentle morning breeze, smelling of fresh bread from a bakery and a little bit of cold air, whispered down the street. It tickled the little glove's fuzzy cuff and nudged it forward. With a soft rustle, the glove tumbled off the curb and onto the smooth, hard stones of the Cobblestone River. The journey had begun. The first thing the little glove encountered was a small, frantic sound. It was a skitter-scatter, tap-tapping sound, mixed with tiny, worried squeaks. There, shivering in a cold patch of shadow between two stones, was a little lost button. It was a shiny brown button, with 4 little holes in its center. And it was rolling back and forth, unable to get a grip on the smooth stone. It was crying tiny, soundless tears of frustration. The little blue glove felt a pull, a feeling that it should stop. It could have just let the breeze carry it past. But the sight of the little button, so lost and unable to move, made the glove's lonely heart feel a new feeling, a wish to help. Using all its strength, the glove flopped itself over, its soft, fuzzy side facing down. It wiggled and shuffled until it was right next to the frantic little button. Then, with a gentle push, it covered the button with its soft, warm body. The button stopped its frantic tapping. It let out a tiny, relieved sigh, snuggling into the fuzzy warmth. The glove wasn't a mitten anymore, but it could be a tiny, warm blanket. It stayed there, keeping the button safe and warm, until a woman with kind eyes walking her dog stooped down. She exclaimed with a happy sound about finding her lost button and picked them both up. She gently plucked the button from the glove's cozy embrace and placed it safely in her pocket. Then, with a smile, she set the little blue glove back on the Cobblestone River, giving it a little pat. The glove felt a little spark, a tiny flicker of warmth inside its fuzzy lining. It had helped. The breeze returned, a little stronger now, smelling of rain and pavement. It carried the glove further down the river. The stones became a little rougher here, and the sound of the city was a low, humming rumble. Soon the glove heard a new sound. It was a soft, pitiful whimpering, a sound of pure sadness. Behind a big grey fire hydrant, a little scrap of paper was caught. It was a beautiful drawing, a bright yellow sun with a smiling face made by a child. A puddle of muddy water was slowly creeping closer and closer to the drawing, threatening to turn the yellow sun into a brown, soggy mess. The drawing was crying quiet, papery sobs. The little blue glove remembered the warm feeling it got from helping the button. It wanted to feel that again. It wanted to stop the drawing's sadness. The breeze was pushing it away, but the glove fought against it, tumbling and rolling toward the crying drawing. It flopped itself down right at the edge of the creeping puddle, making a soft, fuzzy wall. The muddy water touched the glove's side, but it didn't care. It soaked up the water, stopping it from reaching the beautiful drawing. The drawing's whimpers turned into soft, grateful crinkles. The glove felt the cold, wet mud on its side, but deep down it felt another spark of warmth, brighter this time. It had helped again. Before long, the child who had drawn the picture came running back, her footsteps making a happy, pattering sound. She gasped with joy to see her drawing safe and dry, protected by a brave blue glove. She carefully picked up her drawing and then picked up the glove, noticing how it was damp and dirty from its brave act. She gave it a gentle, thankful squeeze before placing it back on a dry, sunny stone on the Cobblestone River. The glove felt the sun on its fabric. It felt 2 sparks of warmth now glowing inside. The journey continued. The Cobblestone River flowed past big shops and little parks. The glove rolled and tumbled, carried by the wind and the vibrations of the busy city. The 2 sparks of warmth inside it were nice, but it still felt a little empty. It hadn't found its true purpose yet. Then it heard the most forlorn sound of all. It was a quiet, shivering sniffle. Not a skitter, not a crinkle, but a real tiny sniffle. There on a cold bench made of iron sat a little girl. Her cheeks were wet with tears, and she was hugging her knees to her chest. And on one hand, she wore a single glove. A single blue glove, exactly the same as our friend. It was the partner, the other glove. But the partner looked just as sad as the little girl, because it was all alone. And its little girl was so very cold and upset. The little girl was crying because she had dropped her favorite shiny pebble, a gift from her grandfather, and it had rolled down a nearby grate into the dark space below the street. She couldn't reach it, and she felt she had lost something precious forever. Our little blue glove felt a huge surge of feeling. It missed its partner terribly. It wanted to be reunited, to be a pair again, to make the little girl's hands warm. But more than that, it saw someone who needed help. It saw a problem it could solve. The little girl and her single glove on the bench didn't see the new blue glove yet. The breeze carried our glove right to the edge of the dark metal grate. The little girl's shiny pebble was just visible, gleaming far below. The holes in the grate were too small for a hand, but just big enough for something soft and flexible. The little blue glove didn't hesitate. It remembered helping the button. It remembered helping the drawing. It knew what to do. It pushed its cuff through one of the gaps in the grate and began to wiggle and stretch. It reached down, down, down into the cool, dark space. The little girl, noticing the movement, gasped and stopped crying. She watched, her eyes wide, as the little glove stretched its very fibers, straining until its fingertips could just brush against the cold, smooth surface of the pebble. With one final careful nudge, it pushed the pebble toward a smaller ledge that was easier to reach from the side. The little girl understood immediately. She knelt down, reached her small fingers through a different gap, and her fingertips touched the precious pebble. She carefully scooped it up and pulled it out, holding it tight in her palm. She was so happy, she beamed a smile as bright as the sun in her drawing. Then she looked at the brave little blue glove, still dangling from the grate. She gently pulled it out. She looked at the glove on her left hand, and then she looked at the glove in her right hand. They were a perfect match, a perfect pair. She slipped the lost glove onto her other hand. The feeling was incredible. The little glove was finally home. It was filled with the most wonderful warmth it had ever known, the warmth of a small, grateful hand. But that wasn't the only warmth it felt. Inside, where the lonely hollow space had been, there was now a blazing, glowing sun of warmth. It was the combined warmth from helping the button, from saving the drawing, and now from helping the little girl. It was the warmth of altruism. The little girl, now with 2 warm hands and her precious pebbles safe, skipped all the way home, her boots making a happy clip-clop rhythm on the Cobblestone River. The 2 gloves snuggled together, finally a complete pair. Not just because they matched, but because they had both helped fill a lonely space with the warm, happy feeling that comes from helping others. And that night, tucked safely away in a warm drawer, the little blue glove didn't just feel the warmth of the other glove beside it. It felt the warm, glowing feeling inside itself. A feeling that would never, ever fade, because the greatest reward for a helpful heart is the happiness it grows all on its own. Wasn't it wonderful how the little glove found its way by being so very kind? Can you feel a warm, glowy feeling in your heart when you help someone too? What shall we learn about in our next adventure? Will we learn about sharing? Or maybe about being a good friend? Join us next time to find out. Moral: helping others is its own reward. filling you with an internal warmth and happiness that is greater than any external prize.